Good evening, everybody. Now, I'm going to discuss the postgraduate opportunities for Sri Lankan graduates during this half an hour. Now, especially students who have already completed their first degrees, in our case, the BSc degrees, they are looking forward to join higher education institute in Sri Lanka or overseas to complete their master's degree or PhD degree and join the industry or academia. So then let's try to have a look at what are the possibilities exist at present. Now, in the case of our universities, in Sri Lanka, we have for higher degrees after the first degree, several type of institutes like the PGIS, Postgraduate Institute of Science, Faculty of Graduate Studies in some universities, and the Faculty Higher Degrees Committees in some universities. So this is the Sri Lankan system of higher education, whereas in most foreign countries, this stage is known as the graduate school. That is for carrying out higher studies after the first degree. Why somebody is interested in pursuing higher studies after the first degree? Because they would like to join the industrial sector, in which case they need a research-based, industrial research-based higher degree, or they can join the government research institutes or various research-related institutes or agencies, or they can join the academic institutes by following academic research-based PhD, and especially university teaching. Those who like to join the university system, either in Sri Lanka or in other countries, they would need PhD in a particular research area where they can apply and try to join such a institute. Now, generally, a graduate school or postgraduate institute will offer two types of postgraduate degrees in general all over the world. That is the situation. One type is called the Masters of Science or MS degree, which is generally 2 years. And most cases, it's a research-based degree, but there can be masters with coursework only, generally maybe shorter period, 1 year, coursework only. And in most cases, it's a coursework plus research, like in our postgraduate institute. Then there is a Doctor of Philosophy or PhD degree, which is another 4 to 6 year commitment. In Sri Lanka, it's generally 4 years. In the US, it's generally 5 to 6 years. But all over the world, it's generally in between 4 and 6 years. It's a long-term commitment focusing on research. Then after you obtain the PhD, there are several possibilities of serving as a postdoctoral fellowship or postdoctoral position, either in the private sector or in the government research institute or even in universities, depending on the country and the situation. Now let's focus the situation in Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, there are different postgraduate degree programs, namely MSc. MSc means MSc by coursework or MSc by research. MPhil is a research degree, generally 2 years or 2.5 years. And a PhD, these are research-based degrees. PhD in Sri Lanka generally takes about 4 years. Again, depends on the university or the postgraduate institute. So as I mentioned earlier, we have postgraduate institutes, PGIS for science, which is at Peradeniya, PGIA for agriculture, which is also at Peradeniya, PGIM for medicine, which is attached to University of Colombo, PIM for management, which is attached to Sri Jadanpura. Like this, there are several types of postgraduate institutes depending on the discipline. Now, these are known as discipline-based postgraduate institutes, generally only one for the country, only one for science in Sri Lanka, only one for agriculture in Sri Lanka, like this. Then also there's a faculty graduate studies, FGS, in some universities, for example, University of Colombo, University of Sri Jadanpura, University of Kelaniya. They have faculty of graduate studies which administer these higher degrees. And in some universities, there is also the earlier style higher degree committee, where the science faculty, for example, administer all the master's and PhD programs. Now, in the case of postgraduate programs in Sri Lanka, generally the funding comes from the government through National Science Foundation, National Research Council, and universities in some cases, and also some foreign agencies, different donor agencies, which are interested in supporting research. So these are the different ways of investing funding for higher degree research, for postgraduate degrees, in the case of Sri Lanka. Okay, just to give some kind of feedback, looking back, if you take the example of our group at the NIFS, I will cite 3 examples only out of many. Dr. Chaturanga Thotavattage, he completed the BSc General degree at Peradeniya, then MSc in Computer Science at Peradeniya. Then he joined the PhD program at the NIFS, registered at the PGIS, but the research was carried out at the NIFS. And he graduated with a PhD in 2018, and now he is a senior lecturer at Rajarata University. Dr. Jasidharan, BSc from Jaffna, PhD from PGIS, and full-time research 4 years at the NIFS, attached to our group. Now, he is serving as a senior lecturer at Southeastern University. Dr. Kalpani Kumari had a BSc Honours from Peradeniya, MPhil Peradeniya, PGIS and NIFS, then the PhD in Physics at Peradeniya, again PGIS, and the research was done at NIFS. She completed the PhD in 2022, and now Kalpani is a research fellow at the National Institute of Fundamental Studies. So these are just 3 examples who has completed the PhD degrees within our system, and now serving at different universities or research institutes. Now, what about the case in foreign countries? Those students who are unable to join a Sri Lankan university to do their higher degrees, or who are really interested in completing the PhD or master's in a foreign university, there are several possibilities. So I will start discussing these one by one. Let's USA, for example, then Australia, Japan. Then in Europe, we have UK, Sweden, France, Germany, Denmark, Finland, Italy, and many other countries. Then there are a set of East European countries, Russia, Romania, Bulgaria, Ukraine. Then in Asia, we have India, China, Thailand, Singapore. So these are the popular foreign destinations for Sri Lankan students to continue their higher degrees. Now let's focus our attention in the USA. First, the student who has completed the first degree and interested in applying to get the admission to a US university to do their PhD degrees, master's or PhD, they must have a very good first degree from our universities here, generally 4-year degree. or a 3-year BSc General degree with a master's MSc. 3-year BSc degree and a 1 or 2 years MSc degree is needed for applying for PhD positions in USA. In addition, most universities also need graduate record examination, aptitude test, and the subject test, test of English as a foreign language, TOEFL, IELTS. These are language tests, and strong recommendation letters from 3 supervisors from the home university here, where they did the first degree. In addition, research experience and research publications. All these things will be counted when you apply for admission to a United States university. There are many US universities, they offer PhD positions to good students, deserved students. And generally it's a 4 to 6 year period, US universities, because first 2 years are spent on coursework and then the research work. So there are several important documents if you want to apply to a US university. Transcripts comes number 1, that is from your university, covering the first degree or the MSc degree. Then the other tests we call standardized test that I mentioned earlier, GRE or MCAT for medical. A graduate resume or curriculum vitae, short curriculum vitae, about 2 pages, then 2 to 3 letters of recommendation from your former supervisors or professors, and statement of purpose, why you are interested in joining this particular university for the PhD degree, and if there are any research interests, you have to justify them. Why I am interested in joining your university to carry out this particular project. So better if you can attach this kind of statement of purpose. Again, this is a summary. If you apply for a US university, there are 7 key steps. You have to choose the program, physics or chemistry or biology or mathematics or whatever, IT, computer science. Then the timeline. You have to plan well ahead, at least 1 year ahead, when you start applying for these US graduate schools. And then the transcripts, standard tests, CV, statement of purpose, and some universities will try to interview you, sometimes online interview, or some universities don't have the interviews. So it depends on the university that you apply. Now, the first step of getting admission to a US university is that you have to apply for a teaching assistantship. Generally, the teaching assistantships means first year or 2, you will be doing mostly teaching, means lab classes and grading homework assignments or tutorials. So these are called TA-ships, teaching assistantships, for which you are paid a salary, and during which period you also can take coursework to fulfill your PhD degree requirements. These are initially, generally 1 or 2 years. Again, the period depends on the university. So first, you have to apply and get admission to a graduate program. Then the graduate program will place you in a selected department, physics or chemistry or biology, as a teaching assistant, TA. So you have to pass the English language test, both written and spoken, preferred, because you will be taking lab classes for undergraduates of that particular university, for which you are paid a monthly stipend. Right. Then there are some universities, they conduct short workshops, how to do this lab teaching assignments, etc. There are online workshops many universities conduct. So you'll have to score high GPA, grade point average, from your coursework, which are generally at the master's level in the first 2 years. Whatever the courses, prescribed courses that you have to take, you have to do it extremely well. Then graduate research assistant is slightly different. You can apply for a graduate research assistantship from a foreign university, where you don't have to get involved in teaching. Depth classes or assignment grading is not necessary. Straight away, you can be attached to the research project. So full-time, you will be doing research, plus, of course, coursework you have to follow, the master's level coursework. So these positions are called research assistantships. And most universities have such RA-ships funded by external research grants, but they are limited. And only very good students can expect to be a research assistant in the first year. Generally, after the first year and the second year, generally other senior students also, graduate students, can be qualified to receive such full-time research grants to work full-time on the research project. So as I mentioned, master's degree take generally 1 to 2 years and PhD 4 to 7 years, sorry. So master's degree mainly cover coursework. So yeah, generally some universities assign a part of your PhD research work also during the first 2 years, but officially it is given after after passing a qualifying exam, which is equivalent to a MSc level exam. So then after that, third year, fourth year, and fifth year, you will spend almost all your time working on the research and preparing your thesis focused on original research. So to do all these, you have to plan your application process well ahead, at least 1 year before the expected date of starting your program in the US universities. Generally, they close the applications in January-February period for the academic year beginning in September-October. So by January or February, your file at the graduate school has to be completed with your transcripts, first degree transcripts, recommendation letters, papers, paper publications, if you have any. So all the documents have to be completed during the early part of that year if you are planning to get enrolled in September, October, the fall semester of that year. So these are the details that I already mentioned. Graduate record exam, most universities want it. There are 2 types of GRE tests, verbal and maths testing, and also there's a separate GRE subject exam. Some universities recommend to do that, which focus on subject matter, like physics or chemistry or biology. Then management students have another GMAT test, and medical have MCAT test. So depending on the discipline, you'll have to take those tests, some universities. And a brief CV, as I already mentioned, about 2 pages, ideally. Then in those brief CV, you have to mention your research publications, if any, what are the research projects you have done, and any awards or honors, any special skills, computer programming or language skills, or the technical skills, professional experience, if you have already worked as a TA in the home university, or other extra activities, volunteering experience, like if you're a member of the astronomy club, for example. So all these things will count when your application is assessed. This is how the format of a short CV, resume, education. We have to mention which university, town, what is your major, what is your minor, what is the GPA score, and the thesis title, any awards and honors, research, any teaching experience if you have, like a demonstrator or assistant lecturer, all these things, and special skills, language skills, publications. So these are the details of the documents that you have to submit during the application process. Writing a statement of purpose, that is why you want to join this American university. You have to justify why you want to join that university to this to do the this project that you are interested in. So you have to justify it, why you are doing so. This is to convince the admission committee that you are really interested in joining that university and carrying out your postgraduate program. So these are the details of how to write such a resume. Also, there is a possibility you can join a less demanding university initially and register for a master's degree. And those universities don't have PhD programs. But from such a university, the admission may be a little easier. So after spending, say, for example, 2 years in such a university, from there you can apply to a better university where there are PhD programs. So this is also generally done by many students. Then you have to pay an application fee, generally $50 to $75, sometimes $100. And also, if it's really difficult for you to manage this, you can request that graduate school or the department concerned to waive this. You have to justify again why you can't pay it. Or you can ask, if it's a must, you can ask one of your friends or relative living in the US to pay this, or living in Sri Lanka even, to pay this and come to some kind of arrangement. So these are some of the very popular universities among Sri Lankans. For example, if you take the physics departments in Sri Lanka, these are some of the popular universities. University of Illinois, Chicago, University of Pittsburgh, Connecticut, University of Oklahoma, Indiana University, where I graduated, University of Virginia, Georgia State University, Washington University, Kansas State University, University of Hawaii, USA. These for chemistry, chemistry. These are the possible universities. I mean, where we can see many Sri Lankans have graduated already. I think my best advice for you is to go through the websites of a few Sri Lankan universities. Go to the websites of the Department of Physics, Department of Chemistry, or Department of Biology, or Botany, Zoo, and see from where the faculty members have graduated. I collected this list based on that. If you apply to such a university where already Sri Lankans have done well, successfully completed their research and PhD, there is a little higher chance of getting the admission to those universities. So this is something you can do, some homework. So please go through the websites of the Sri Lanka universities and refer to the qualifications of faculty members. Some success stories. Prof. Sivanandan, BSc Physics Peradeniya, is a PhD from University of Illinois, Chicago. Dr. Sumit Bandar, BSc Peradeniya, the University of Pittsburgh. Dr. Sarat Banapal, University of Pittsburgh, PhD, who attached to the NASA. Recent examples, Mahisha Amrasinghe, BSc Peradeniya, NIFS, the PhD at University of Illinois, Chicago, and she's attached. She was attached to the NREL, National Renewable Energy Laboratory, now working at First Solar Company. Okay, this is Prof. Sivanandan. I spent my last sabbatical leave at University of Illinois, Chicago, where I renewed my contacts with Professor Sivanandan's group, and I spent one sabbatical year doing research in his labs. So then Professor Sivanandan started helping Sri Lankan research projects in our universities, selected some universities, Kelaniya, Jaffna, Peradeniya, and Rona. So he's still active. And he's an entrepreneur who owns 3 research-based companies in USA. So this is a classic example of Peradeniya BSc Physics Special have come to this kind of international caliber entrepreneur. Mahisha Amarasinghe, BSc Physics Special, Peradeniya. She completed the PhD at UIC and also worked at NREL, National Renewable Energy Laboratory. Now she is attached to First Solar Company, which is #1 solar panel producing company in the world. This is another recent example, graduate student. Both Mahisha and Senali did their undergraduate research project with us at the NIFS. So Senali also did a PhD at Wesleyan University after graduation. Now she is attached to Intel Corporation, Intel Portland, Oregon, as a process engineer. So she also started her research career at the IFS, both Mahisha and Amarasinghe. So these are some success examples from the people that we have taught them, and now they are doing their research-related careers in the US. Then another country is Australia, where some of our people have applied and gained admission and successfully completed their PhD degrees in Australia. Australia also situation is similar. You have to apply, and then also there can be scholarships. You have to check the websites. There are several agencies which offer scholarships to go to Australia to do higher degrees. Otherwise, you can apply to individual universities. So when you apply for a PhD degree or research-based master's degree, you can indicate your research interest, a brief research proposal, the project title, and you can even identify a possible research supervisor in that university. You can contact him directly, and a short description of your interest, your background, BSc degree, and if you do your research, what are the results that you expect, what contribution it can make for the advancement of science, what methodology that you will be using. So you can briefly describe the project that you have in mind when you address your letter to the supervisor of a particular university in Australia. There are several scholarships given by the Australian government for Sri Lankan students. These are advertised in the websites and newspapers. Endeavour Postgraduate Leadership Awards is one such scheme. You can look for Endeavour. Then universities, also like Adelaide University. There are many universities, they have their own funding agencies, funding schemes for international students. University of Sydney is another university. There are many Australian universities which offer competitive research grants schemes. So there's another success example, Dr. Janit Veerasinghe, BSc Physics Rona, and he completed his MPhil with us at PJS and NIFS, full-time research. He completed Masters, MSc, and went to Queensland University of Technology, completed the PhD. Now he is a postdoctoral researcher at the Australian National University, Canberra. Another success story from NIFS training. Queensland University of Technology is another place where we have several Sri Lankans graduated, and I think it's worth applying for this university if you are interested in Australian system. Then there are many universities like University of Melbourne, University of New South Wales, University of Sydney, Australian National University, Monash University, Queensland, University of Queensland, Western Australia, Adelaide, many universities in Australia where Sri Lankans have joined and graduated, successfully completed. So I think you can give priority to some selected universities from this kind of list. Then in Japan also, some of our students go to Japan for their PhDs. There are several schemes, JICA, scholarship schemes, JICA, and various such agencies. You can Google search and see, and they advertise once in every year applications. So you can look for such applications for scholarships to do your PhDs in Japan. So JICA is one such scheme. Yeah, there are several other schemes also. You can do a Google search and see. These, in addition to applying to the universities directly, you can apply for these grants where you don't have to pay any tuition or any fees. So in the case of Japan also, generally you can do a master's in 2 years and PhD in 4 to 5 years. They also need this when you apply, similar to the US system, TOEFL, English language test, and other requirements. Also, you can write to individual universities, go to their websites, and we have several academics already in Sri Lanka serving us with who has obtained PhDs from Japan. Professor Sanath Rajapaksha from Hokkaido, he's the present Dean Science Peradeniya from Hokkaido University. Professor Champika Vitana, Department of Chemistry from Tokyo University. Professor Dilrukshi Vijayaratna, Department of Chemistry, Colombo from Tokyo Institute of Technology. And Dr. Jagat Munatiraga, Geology Peradeniya from Saga University. Professor J.R. Kumar at the NIFS from Shizuoka University, PhD. So you can contact these people and get more information. And these are some of the scholarship schemes Japan has. Mungbushu is a very popular scheme. So I think if you Google search, you can come across these possibilities. There's a Tokyo Institute of Technology alumni. Also, they every year they call applications in public media, websites and newspapers. You can apply. This such example, Chaturi Kaviratna from Sri Lanka, recently selected for this international graduate programs at Tokyo Institute of Technology. That's from the institute. She got a scholarship. So there are several other schemes offered by the universities, offered by the Japanese government. So if we are on alert, you can try applying through these. In Europe, also there are many opportunities for you if you like to do your PhD in a European country, UK or Sweden or Germany, Denmark, France, Finland. There are many possibilities, scholarship schemes, and also individual universities will offer. So this is a very competitive grant scheme, Marie Curie scheme, sponsored by the European Union, grant scheme, Horizon Europe, very competitive, but good students can apply for this. This is a Swedish situation, KTH, Royal Institute, Karolinska Institute, Umeå University. There are many Swedish universities also. You can apply directly. Also, there are very few government-sponsored funding opportunities for Sri Lankan students. Germany, DAD scheme is very popular. Many Sri Lankans have completed their PhDs through DAD scheme. So there are DAD graduates, PhD holders in Sri Lanka serving. At the NIFS, we have Professor Suresh Benjamin, DAD scholar. So you can get sufficient information for these schemes by contacting people who have already completed their PhDs. This is a DAD group photo, as Suresh is there, the backside. Germany is another country where you can apply for scholarships, again through the government-sponsored scholarships, and also institute sponsored scholarships, especially the Humboldt scheme. People have applied and got positions. Then UK PhD funding, you can apply to universities, and also there are different schemes, Commonwealth, and other schemes where PhD positions in UK is available. St. Andrews University, these are university-based grant schemes. So you can search, do a Google search and apply for these positions. Warwick and Oberg institutes. So there are university-sponsored competitive grant schemes for PhDs. Canada, Toronto University, for example, is a good university where you can apply. And there are many schemes from Canada also for PhD applicants. So please go to these websites. You will find several possibilities. Canada, same. Canada, University of British Columbia, similar situation. You can apply to the universities directly for a research assistantship or a graduate assistantship. They may have positions if they are interested in your academic specialty and your transcripts. So there are several Canadian scholarships available for Sri Lankans to apply. So embarking on a research-based PhD journey not only empowers you to push the boundaries of knowledge, but also equips you to create innovative solutions that can transform the lives of people and contribute meaningfully to develop the human society. Thank you.